Welcome to another episode of Redistricting for Racial Justice, presented by More Equitable Democracy. My name is Bill Ball, and this is the 10th and final episode of Intro to GIS and Census Data. And we're going to put everything we learned together and kind of make our final map together. And so specifically, we're going to tinker around with a couple of different ways of doing symbology. We're going to talk about data view versus layout view. And then finally, we're going to add a few bells and whistles and some legends and titles and whatnot. So let's go and pick up from where we left off. Actually, before we do that, I want to take a look at the final map one more time. Okay, so this one's already made. This is what we're going to try to get to. And so a couple of differences between the map we have here and this map here. Well, first, this is zoomed in on Cincinnati, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Let's go ahead and we have the zoom in magnifying glass here, and let's go ahead and get down here into Hamilton County. Okay, that's good enough. And let's use the pan tool to get a little bit closer. Okay. Now, I can see that in the final map, there are no lines around these block groups. But in our map, it doesn't look so good. And I mean, maybe you like it better this way, and this is more detailed of what's going on. But if you want a clean-looking map like this, and that's what we're going for, we want to get rid of these lines around the block groups. So let's go ahead and go. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and double-click here and mess with the symbology. Because another thing we have to do, and we can do them both at the same time, is I see the scale here. 0 to 25%, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, and over 75 too. So we need to do that first. So we'll go back to our map. We'll double-click on block groups. Go to Symbology. Quantities. Graduated colors. We've already got POC divided by total. But we have 5 classes here. My map has 4. So let's go ahead and make that 4. Okay, so now we're down to 4. And again, my map went from 0 to 25, 25. So I'm going to go and click in here, and I can just type in 25 or 0.25 because it's a percentage. And then here, what I'm trying to tell you is you don't need to type in 0, hyphen, whatever. Just type in the last number, essentially. So I can just type in 0.5 here. I can hit tab twice. I can type in 0.75 here. And then it finally is at 1. So now it goes from 0 to 25 or 0.25 and so forth. So that looks good. Let's go and click OK. Let's click Apply and see what that changes does. So the map got a little bit wider. So we've got a more strict color scheme going on here. Okay. We still have these lines everywhere. So I want to get rid of that. And so we can change the... If we want to change the color, this is the same color scheme I like. But I want to get rid of these borders. So let's go ahead and click on this yellow symbol here for the 0 to 25. Let's double click on it. And let's just get rid of the border. So we'll click no border. And we're going to do the same for all 4 over here. So okay, let's click apply. All right, now we're getting somewhere. That's good enough for now. Let's go back to our final map. And, okay, we got these congressional district lines right here. Okay, I want to get that going. So, we haven't talked about this yet, but it's a good time to talk about it, which is we have, again, only 2 shapefiles or layers right here. And we haven't talked about this yet, but I do want to illustrate that the importance of how the layering of these 2 matters. If I were to drag this one on top, you can see it's going to cover up the purple one, and there's a little blank spot here. Let's use our identify tool that we learned about and see what's going on here. What's going on there? And if you see it goes to that block group, you'll see there's no people who live there. We're not going to worry about this for that episode. We're just going to have to live with it. But another good use of the identify tool kind of tells you what's going on. Again, total people, 0. Okay, but let's move. I want the congressional districts on top. How can I make this work? Let's go to double click on the Ohio symbology. And the way I did that is instead of clicking on the shapefile, you can go straight here and click directly on the symbol that you want to do. So I'm just clicking on that shade of purple. And what I'm going to do first is I know I got a big black thick border on here, so I want to go ahead and put that on there. So I made this outline black, and I'm going to make the outline width. Let's go ahead and go with 5 and see what happens. Okay, that's good enough. So I've got a nice dark border here. But now what I want to do is I want to see the people of color percent, but I can't seem to get it to work here. And what we need to do is get rid of this fill. So now if we click back on our symbol and change this fill color to no color, now we're talking. Okay, so that's we're basically there. I want to move on, talk about basically the finishing touches here. And for this entire time in this course, we've been on what's called data view. And if you go up to this view catalog up here, or tile, you got data view and layout view. And unless you're making a final map, you almost always want to be in data view. Layout view is basically, you know, where you're going to add your legends and whatnot and format it to a screen and whatnot. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let's go back to my initial map here, which is in layout view. It's got a legend and it's got a title and whatnot. So it's square. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix that. We'll go to File, Page, and Print Setup. And uncheck Use Paper Settings, and we'll just make it 8.5 by 8.5. Now, when you do that, it's not smart enough to sort of recalibrate. So what we want to do is click on the map here using this black arrow, and just go ahead and just drag these to the border so it fills up completely. Okay, so we have our page. If we were to print it, this is exactly what it would look like. Okay, let's look at our final map. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I see some labels on here. I want to get labels on my map. So if we right-click Ohio, the shapefile, the congressional district shapefile, and then click Label Features, okay, it's got this kind of small congressional district 1. I don't necessarily need all that. Let's double-click on the shapefile again. We'll go to Labels. And what's the label field? Right now it's on Name. I don't want it to be Name. I want it to be this CD field. And I can go back to my attribute table and take a look at what's going on here. So it's labeling this field right here, Congressional District 1, whereas that's going to be good enough for me, this number here. And so what I want to do, again, is double-click on here, go to Labels, and that was the CD field. And let's see what happens if we click Apply. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Numbers are really small, so let's go ahead and make that bigger. We can mess the same pane. Go maybe make that 20 in bold. Let's see what happens when we do that. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's go to 28. All right, I like that. And we're going to click OK. Now, labeling is a weird thing. It's not great in ArcGIS. You're going to have to live with it, or most of the time what I do is I just edit it myself manually. And we'll talk about that later. But you can see it's labeling this 10 up here. I don't want it to label that, and, you know, it's just unnecessary. So in order to get around that, what I'm going to do is just crop Congressional District 10 out of my map. Oh, and I did a bad job, apparently. Let's zoom in here in Cincinnati. There we go. Okay. Moving along here. Let's go back to our final map. Looking pretty good. And so, it looks like I got a legend here and a title. So I think I need to go back here and I need to make some room on my my tapestry here. So let's go back and click this arrow, and let's make some room for a title. And then maybe to make it a little bit nicer, let's bring these in a little bit. All right, good enough. And so now I want to do is add a legend. So go to Insert, and we'll go to Legend. Now this is only going to work in Layout View. It will not allow you to add a legend if you are in Data View. And just as let's just see what happens again. Let's go and move this to Data View. You can see you've got a much bigger tapestry. We're not limited to the page that we're on as we are in Layout View. So go back to layout view, insert legend. Again, this is another clunky thing. These legends aren't great and they're kind of cumbersome. But what we're doing here is we want to tell what field do we want a legend on. And I don't want a legend for CD. I just want a legend for the block group. So let's go ahead and move this CD to the left side. So a legend just for block groups, okay? Click next. Legend title, and you see it defaults to this, legend, which I guess is fine, and I don't like it. But we're going to make this percent people of color. And we'll click next. If you want to put a border and a background on it, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and put a 1-point border and a white background. And we'll click next, and click next, and click finish. And you can see, as always, it always picks a lovely thing to default to, because this is exactly what I want mine to look like. Unfortunately, it's not. So we need to tinker with this a little bit more. So let's go ahead and double-click on the legend. And then we want to go to Items and then Style. And basically what we wanted to do is get rid of this TL. Like, I don't know why you'd want to default to labeling the name of the shapefile, but it doesn't make sense to me. So we want to get rid of that. So we click on Style, and you got a bunch of different styles here, and I don't have a better way of telling you than it's this second one right here is the one I like. So I'll click on this second one here. There's a bunch of options here. I like this second one on the left, and then click OK. And let's click Apply and see how we're doing. All right, we're getting somewhere here. Let's go and click OK for now. So now I got a title. It's good enough. I don't like this 0.00 whatever. I want to fix that. And the way to do that is we need to edit our shapefile. So we're going to double click on block groups here again. And go to Symbology. And we've got a range here, but we've also got the label field right here. And I don't like that label. Let's go ahead and make this here below 25%, and then 25 to 50%, 50 to 75%, and then we'll do over 75%. Okay, and hit OK. Okay, getting better. It's a little bit small there in the middle there. I'm going to double click on that and edit that a little bit more. And so what I want to do is go down to these items, and basically what I want to do is, this is the item that I want to edit, which is these percentages right here. So it's not very intuitive, but if you click here and you go down, let's go ahead and make this maybe 16 and click Apply. That's good enough. So we'll go ahead and click OK. So I'm content with that legend. You can mess around with this all day. It's a very clunky feature, but you get the gist of it. And then finally, I just want to add a title to this. So we can go here and we can add text to our, I'm sorry, not text. That's not what I wanted to do. I apologize. Okay. We're going to insert a title. And we'll call this Congressional Districts of Ohio. And we'll hit OK. Defaults to not a good format, so we want to double click on that. And we'll change the symbol, and we'll change it to maybe 28 points in bold. Let's see what that looks like. Good enough. Let's double check our final map, see if I'm leaving anything out. Looks good enough to me. So that's going to conclude the course. For anyone who's watched this entire series, I appreciate it. I hope you got a lot out of it. Any questions or comments, leave it below. And, we'll join you in the next series. So thanks for watching.